right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Very warm welcome to the Music Hall. Here we are, as always, thrilled to see you for two main reasons. One, we need the money, and two, you feel such a fool standing up here talking to yourself. So, good evening. I can see you're going to be a lovely audience. You should have been here last night. You should have been here last night. Laugh. Thought they never bloody start. Any special occasion? I haven't got any notes tonight. Have you got anybody got any special occasions tonight? No birthdays? Wedding anniversaries? No? White or Lodge Sunset Strip, are they with us tonight? Yes, welcome. Nice to have you with us, gang. Pacific Sands, are they with us? Yes? No. Well, there we are. No. Well, that's lovely. Excitement's at fever pitch, isn't it, eh? Hey, I'm in on those moods tonight, I can run into Woolworths and shout Coles. I could. No wedding anniversaries, not one at all, isn't it? We had 3 wedding anniversaries last Saturday night. We had a 1st, a 25th, and a 57th. You didn't, we did. Tell us about it. I will. And we played appropriate music. Isn't that lovely when you have a special occasion and you play something, you know, that's appropriate for the occasion? Like for the 1st wedding anniversary, we played that lovely tune by Cole Porter, Night and Day. And for the 25th, that lovely old favourite, Once in a While. 57 years we played Thanks for the Bloody Memory. We'll do all the old bits tonight, but don't worry, make it easy, you'll know when to laugh. And it's funny how musical comedians always do jokes about animals, have you noticed? And particularly about parrots. There's thousands of stories about parrots, and I've collected them over the years because I love parrot stories. They're fascinating. I don't know why people tell jokes about parrots, but they do. And this is one of my favourites. It's about a fellow who wanted a parrot, and he wanted a talking parrot. He wanted a good one. He didn't mind what he paid. He was happy to pay for it. He lived about 20 miles out of town, and one day he's walking down the main street past the pet shop, and he sees a parrot in a cage. He thinks, that looks like a nice parrot. I'll go and ask the fella how much it is. So he goes in the shop. He said, excuse me, how much is a parrot? And they said the fella said $450. He said, $450 for a parrot? That's a lot of money. Does it talk? The fella said, does it talk? Does it talk? He said, sir, this is the world champion talking parrot. This parrot does the Bible, Shakespeare, anything you like. He's the world champion. Amazing animal. Oh, the fellow said, it's worth the money in that case, and I'll have him. So he paid the $450 and takes it out and puts it in the house. A week later, he's back again. He said, excuse me, you know that parrot, $450, world champion, does Shakespeare, the Bible, anything you like? The fellow said, yes. He said, I've had it a week, it hasn't said a word. The fellow said, I can't understand it. You mean it runs up that ladder and walks along the perch and hasn't said a word? The fellow said, what ladder? What ladder is that? He said, there's a little ladder in the cage, it leans on the perch. He runs up, then he said, there isn't a ladder. There's not a ladder in the cage, definitely. Oh, he said, that's it, isn't it? It's the lack of exercise. He won't talk without a ladder. He said, how much is a ladder? He said, $4.50. He said, I'll have one. So he buys a little ladder and goes and puts it in the cage. A week later, he's back again. He said, excuse me, you know that parrot, $450, world champion, does Shakespeare, the Bible, anything you like? The fellow said, yes. He said, I've had it 2 bloody weeks. It hasn't said a word. The fellow said, I can't understand it. You mean it runs up that ladder, walks along the perch, notice that little bell with its beak and hasn't said a word? The fellow said, what bell? What bell is that? He said, there's a little bell on the cage. He notices it with his beak and he talks. He said, there isn't a bell. Definitely not a bell. Oh, he said, that is musical. He won't talk without a bell. Oh, he said, how much is a bell? He said, $7.50. He said, oh, bloody hell, I'll have a bell. So he buys a bell, goes and puts it in the cage. A week later, he's back in. He said, excuse me, know that parrot, $450, world champion, does Shakespeare, the Bible, anything you like? The fellow said, yes. He said, I've had it 3 bloody weeks. It hasn't said a word of us. I can't understand it. You mean it runs up that ladder, walks along the perch, notices that little bell with its beak, has a look in the mirror, and hasn't said a word? The fellow said, what mirror? What mirror? Not keeping you up, am I? He said, what mirror is that? He said, next to the bell there's a little mirror. He nudges the bell, then he looks in the mirror and he goes like that and he talks. He said, there isn't a mirror. Definitely not a mirror. Oh, he said, that's it, isn't it? He's lonely. He won't talk without a mirror. Oh, he said, how much is a mirror? He said, $12.50. He said, well, yeah, I'll have a mirror. So he buys a mirror and goes and puts it. A week later, he's back again. He said, excuse me, you know that parrot, $450, world champion, does Shakespeare, the Bible, anything you like? The fellow said, yes. He said, he's dead. The fellow said, what? He said, he's dead. He said, I came back and there he was lying in the bottom of the cave with his little legs up in the air like that. He said, did he say anything before he died? He said, yes, he did. He said, hasn't any bastard ever heard of birdseed? Thank you very much. It's silly, isn't it? Now, it's silly, isn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, on with the motley, the pig from the parlour, as they once said. Mr. Russell Stubbings and his entourage would now like to pay tribute to the big band era, Glenn Miller, and all that with a wonderful number called Opus 1. Take it away, Russell.